Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the comments video from the desert in Quartzsite, Arizona. It is the 7th of December. The day that will live in infamy, right? December 7th, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor. And it is, the app says it's 58 and clear, but I look at my temperature gauge, it's 44. So that's 14 degrees colder than the Weather Channel says it is in Quartzsite. It's amazing to me how far off the app is from the actual temperature. So it makes you wonder about the forecast. But the highs tend to be pretty close. Today, the high will be 72, low of 46. It looks sunny skies for the next 4 days. Wednesday, a little partly cloudy. I mean, little tiny clouds in the corner here, so not a lot of clouds. A little bit of clouds over the next 10 days. I'd say a little over half the days have a little cloud in the corner. A front comes through, I think Monday afternoon, Monday night. So the temperature drops to the 63. Then it starts climbing back up to 70. It's 63 on Tuesday. By Saturday, it's 69. By Sunday, 70. We're up in near that 70 degrees again. Wind speeds. The only thing interesting about wind speeds, if I go to it right here, is when you get to, it's not there anymore. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So when you get to Monday, I think that's when that front comes through, you're into double digit 10 and it peaks out at 5 in the afternoon at about 16 miles per hour. And that, between 10 over 15, there's some discomfort in that and spending time outdoors. Things are blowing around a lot, and that calms down by the next afternoon. But I believe that's Monday afternoon. That's the representation of the front coming through, and the temperatures go down. There's a lot of wind for maybe 12, 18 hours, and then we're back to normal. It looks like we're back to pretty normal wind speeds, under 10 miles per hour. 3 to 6, very pleasant. So that is the weather, and let's get into the comments. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I've done some experimentation, and one of the things that I find distracting when watching my own both these comment videos and any video where I'm sitting here looking into the camera is this glare on my glasses. So I've changed things up, and I think I've successfully reduced that glare. Tell me if you notice that, and if you notice a big difference this time. Judy Jennings on my morning desert walk. Obviously, you're not the first RV YouTube vlogger who made a mistake in demonstrating emptying the camper tanks. Appreciate your effort, enjoying your channel, and the solar video was very helpful. Yeah, I made mistakes. At least one big mistake. And I'm sure I'm not the first. On the positive news story, some people were kind of grossed out by this one, but I liked it. It was a scientist has used Australian cockroaches and attached electronics to them to make them maneuverable for search and rescue operations. It's pretty fascinating stuff, but a lot of people don't like cockroaches. Ken says, good potential, not happy with the cockroaches, but life goes on. Ken, doing the heart to show you read the comment and then reading it off in your comments video should work just fine. I was saying how, they're comments that deserve, kind of a robust answer. So my robust answers are on this program every day versus me typing it out. And that, I get it, that's not convenient for some people, but I need to, as the channel's growing and the views are growing, especially in Quartzsite, it'll calm down after I leave Quartzsite in the spring. But it's really busy now, and I don't want to make this into a job. If I make it into a job that's not fun anymore, that's not what I want. But reading the comments and responding to them like this is fun for me. So It's a little bit of a hardship on some people who would rather see a written response. Everything's a compromise, right? Adventures with Merit. Laugh out loud, good on you for outing yourself on the whole glove contamination on the sewage video. Hey, we're all human and we all make mistakes. It was still a very informative video. Love the channel, very genuine. Wife and I will head to Quartzsite in January as first timers. Congratulations. Thanks for all the great advice. Well, I can't wait till you get out here. You're going to love it. And Philip Williams says, those are great shots, but maybe do an experiment with using it with your e-bike. Don't think you'd want to use it with your truck. I have used it with my e-bike. More than one video, so check out my videos. As a thing with the gloves, as an added protection, maybe use a sanitizer or some kind of wipes on your hands when you get them off, which I did on camera. I used wipes on camera after I got them off. I just forgot to take them off when I was driving. I wouldn't fret over the stuff too much as far as your video. People should be able to adjust how they do it to their standard of feeling safe. That's a good point. People are pretty intelligent in general. They can figure it out. Great day today. I tend to wake before the sun comes up, roll to McDonald's for some coffee, and roll back to camp by 8 a.m. or so. Then it's just chill time. Love watching your vids. You're the Bob Ross of RV vids. Laugh out loud. I like that. I love Bob Ross. Soft spoken. Don't get excited. Just doing your thing. Yeah, thank you. That's such a nice comment. Thank you, Philip. Randy, it's very cute no matter what it is, and that was just the wildlife cam catching something in me. Whenever I like when I catch something on the wildlife cam out there in the middle of the night, I like putting it out there and asking people, what do you think this is? You know, when it's not always obvious. Real Cyborg. That's what I called the cockroach video. He's going to have to overcome a lifetime of cockroach abhorrence. That's funny. And let's see. Danny Nomad. I genuinely feel bad for folks who obsessively love or hate a celebrity. It really shows an emptiness within themselves when they put so much effort into someone they don't even know. There's nothing wrong with liking or disliking a celebrity, but dedicating your life to hating or loving someone you don't know is really sad. I was talking about big YouTubers like Eric, Nomadic Fanatic, where they're YouTube channels that are just exclusively to criticize Nomadic Fanatic. And there are other channels that their whole channel is about criticizing other YouTubers. That's all, their whole content, and it's a little upsetting. And when you're big like Eric, Nomadic Fanatic with 250,000 viewers, you're definitely a celebrity. He can't go anywhere without being recognized and approached. I've seen it. I've been out in public around him, and you know it's very common to look over and see him taking a selfie with someone that's real excited. M. Campbell, YouTube haters. What's going on in the heads of people whose identity is tied up so much with hate? I can't understand it. I have a life and I'm too busy to spend my time letting anyone live in my head rent free. Let me just mention here, I'm releasing a video right now that contains a YouTuber who hasn't posted in a long time, but he had a pretty big following. His name's Randy, and it's The Mobile Traveler, and there's a lot of nasty controversy about Randy online, and people get very nasty about it. And it's the reason he's not doing it anymore. He can't stand just the vitriol in the negative stuff. So I don't think he's posted a video in a year, but people will they'll see my video and they will come on here and they will pile on and say nasty things. And those comments are just going to get deleted. I'll tell you right now. And I'm actively filtering for them, and you'll never see them because I'm going to catch them before they go out. And it's just going to be, if you're one of those, you know what? No one listening to this is going to be one of those. It's going to be people that stumble across and then hear that I have Randy on my channel, and people will go crazy. And I won't stand for it. I'm not going to stay away from his camp. The guy, I have good friends that camp out there at the spot, and I'm not going to be intimidated into not doing what I feel is right and what I want to do on my channel. That's all there is to it. So to continue with M. Campbell, I can't understand it. I have a life and I'm too busy to spend my time letting anyone live in my head rent free. I absolutely agree. I stopped commenting because I don't want my name read out loud. I wish I caught that before I read your name out loud. It's your screen name. I'm sorry. But I have to say I was shocked to hear people creating channels for the purpose of denigrating someone else's channel. I can't think of a bigger waste of time and showing a bigger level of immaturity. That's just sad. So I'm assuming that you're okay with your name being read this time, since you know that I do that. Sure to rain concerning the glove issue. It would have been worse if you had an incident like Robin Williams in the movie RV and proceeded to keep the gloves on. It was only a small part of the video which otherwise provided good information. Your corrections to the video are sufficient. So I put a warning in the title to check the description, and in the description it says, hey, I did this and it was a bad example. Don't do what I did. In the Robin Williams thing, is he had a volcano of you know what, and it was funny because it was a movie, not a real person. And here's, I love this. The Mad Camper says truck code 1191. It's an ongoing gag with I have with a lot of viewers where they go, oh my gosh, you showed your keyless entry to get in your truck, you're gonna lose your truck. And I always say, okay, I got you. If you can tell me what the code was, I'll change it and I'll never show my hand again. I'll try never to show my hand again. And no one has even come close to getting the code, because you kind of see my fingers dance over it, but you can't tell what numbers I'm pushing in what order. You just can't. And 1191 is not it. PT Jimmy G. Rob, love the channel. I've learned so much. Rob, screw the haters. These people hate themselves and want to spread their hate to others. I want to love and spread love and make the world a better place. Rob, a question. Any problems with mice or rats in the desert? Can they get into the trailer or eat the wiring in the trailer or truck? Just wondering, Rob. Keep up the amazing channel. Well, you know what? No, last 4 years I haven't had a problem. That doesn't mean people don't have problems out there. They do. And one of my concerns is I'm in the same place that I've been every year, except I realized I've moved closer to the wash, to the vegetation. So that could present a problem for me. And I'll tell you, when I did have a problem that almost cost me a lot of time and money in New Mexico. In New Mexico, I have a spot that is in a field, and there are all kinds of critters, and my wires did get chewed through there in New Mexico. I was doing nothing to prevent it. So I'm actively looking for maybe some mitigation techniques. The number one is, I forget what the manufacturer is, but there's a special tape you can buy. At least I can tape up the junction where all the wires come in together, because that's the thing that got chewed. And luckily, I was able to get kind of a free new, I'm having another senior moment. I can't remember the name of it's the device where all the wires come in a junction. I can't think of the name, but I know one of my friends will jump in here and say what the name is. But anyway, someone had a free one and gave it to me, and I just got charged labor for wiring everything into it. And there's a tape you can put around that repels rodents. The other thing, you heard about lights, and I've heard about peppermint and all kinds of methods, and none of which, when you really start looking into it, none of them are like a proven solid method. I was looking at, I like this channel, Big Truck, Big RV, if you've ever seen him. Actually, you've never seen him. All you see is his hands. He never puts his face on camera, but he's got great content. And he recently bought some to mitigate pests that were chewing his wires in his fifth wheel. But it's sound. It's like it plays a loud sound if it detects a critter coming near, which probably works really well. But that's not cool when you're camping with other people. They have these loud sounds, alarms go off in the middle of the night. It's not going to work. If you're on your own property and you don't mind, that's one thing. Being out here, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that. So, so I wrote to him, to PT Jimmy, and said, no problems the last 4 years, maybe just lucky though. And I'm saying, yeah, maybe I'm just lucky, and I may have a problem. So if anybody really has a solid way where they have experience, where they know this worked, and it's kind of hard to know, unless you've had constant problems, you put an intervention in and the problems absolutely go away. And there's no other factor involved. Philip Williams, it was the regular Dollar General I bought the dog food and snacks at, the hot food from Coyote Fresh. Yeah, well, I was wondering, Philip was talking about how nice someone was in a dollar store, and there's Family Dollar, Dollar General, and Dollar General Market. There's 3 of them, and it was the Dollar General he was in. And the hot food he getting, Coyote Fresh in town has really great hot food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, reasonably priced. A lot of people go there, and they give it to you in one of those white kind of styrofoam containers. It's a great place to get a good meal at a good price. It's always hot and fresh, good stuff. Philip says, I made an impression, I think, as my neighbor said they would watch my things and I don't have to pack every time I go into town. Yeah, it was his first time here. I went out and visited Philip at his site, and one of his neighbors came over and said, hey, are you Travels with Dottie? He recognized me. But he had already established a relationship with this neighbor right away and other people around him. And that's kind of the way it works here, is that, people that you end up in the proximity of, you end up getting to know and you become friends. The other thing is today's long form video is about the 2 major camps in La Posa South that are open to everyone. They're bigger communities. There's always stuff going on. There's the Q camp and there's the Spot. They're kind of on opposite sides of the main road. And I take you on a trip there in the video, and we talk to people. We talk to someone in both camps about what the camp is like. They have a lot in common. They have activities and potlucks. They both have a central community tent where people meet. And if you want instant community, that's a way to do it. If you have an LTVA pass, and that's what you want to do. Otherwise, just camping not real close to people, but in proximity, right? The rule is 15 feet, and it's not a good, that's rule. Etiquette is far more than 15 feet. Etiquette, I would say, if you don't know someone, 100 feet is more like reasonable. Let's see. So America TG, when I see a channel attacking another channel, I always report them as hate. Philip Williams, is you have the 11-foot mark for your trailer height. I ask if you measured it empty with nothing loaded, especially liquids and such. With it empty, it will be at its highest. That's because you should, and that's what you should use, because when you put stuff in your trailer, that height gets lower. I had to do that at work with a box truck. I found out the back end was about 6 inches higher than the front, so we used the higher back end measurement for bridges and such. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. My tanks are always at least half full, so I would say when I did it, it was at least half full, and I have a margin of error in that 11 feet that will account for any movement. And if you look online about differences in height in RVs, it's minuscule. It's in most resources say it's within 3 inches max. So I'm well within. I mean, the actual height that I measured to the absolute peak was 10 in inches. I don't remember the exact inches, so I put 11 feet. So I remove all doubt. Ken Gray, everyone has good and bad days, and no one is immune to dislike. Let yourself relax a bit, and you can still have fun. All right. I'm Ken. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty relaxed guy already. So I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Sometimes I just have to ask Ken, what are you referring to there? And he'll tell me. RV Life, just be you. I love that George snores. It's so funny. I like your explanation about hostile humor. I need to remember that. As I often do that. Thanks again. Yeah, that hostile humor thing is I'm so grateful that I was given that insight by a mentor, and I haven't eliminated it from doing it in my life, but I'm certainly do it a heck of a lot less, and I'm more apt to catch myself when I do it. Hopefully the day will come where I never engage in humor at the expense of any person or group or organization. Just, it's almost, if I use humor, I'm hoping it's something that is humorous to everyone and offensive to no one. Glad you're going to be authentic. It's part of what makes your channel great. And so that's from Adventure with Merit. And what Merit's saying is, I had made reference to, when I get, I have maybe a negative reaction to something, a negative reaction to a comment, or I tend to hide it. I tend to hide it, and because I think, I want this to be a positive space. Oh, look at that. I thought that was off camera. It's not. Let's make it off camera. There we go. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit more genuine. If I'm kind of upset with something, and I started that yesterday when I talked about a comment that I thought was hostile humor, and I talked about my life experience with hostile humor, what I learned. I gave an example of when I did it unintentionally, and had some regret doing it and had to apologize for it. And I lost subscribers over that. There were people that I had in that video, negative subscribers. There's a stat that tells you, and people were kind of turned off by that. And I expected that. That's okay. It'll still be, trust me, this is going to be a very positive channel with positive things, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more genuine. Morning desert in the LTVA. Morning in the LTVA desert. Gary Lee McDonald says, we all make mistakes, but you just forgot. We all learn from that video, so don't worry. Be happy, camper. Quartzsite Comments, Wendy Sosa says, hi, Rob, you definitely are not alone in forgetfulness. I often struggle with this daily. I often say that Google is my best friend because I'm constantly looking things up, even simple words that I remember. It's beyond frustrating. I think our minds are just a little tired, at least what I'm standing by. I think our minds are just a little tired. At least that's what I'm standing by. Okay. Hostile humor isn't funny at all. I agree. I had someone in my life that was always saying things that were funny, but at others' expense. I had to stop being around that person because it causes bitterness towards them, and I don't want to have that in my life. Morning in the desert. MKMO, oops, moments like the gloves are what Clorox wipes are for. Embarrassing, but easily remedied. It's not like you were cooking a banquet for 25 people. It's very true. Ken says, hey, thank you for explaining hostile humor. I never knew the term and just called it careless joking. It's a good term, too. John Montalbano, he can be very funny when he chooses. The doggy is adorable. I'm not sure he's referring to me being funny when he chooses, or the commenter that I was referring to. I don't know. Adventure with Mara, definitely Fox has the gait, bone structure, fluffy tail, and black tip. That's a game camera identification video. On the comments video, Johnny Montebello again. I'm looking for an RV now, and he has taught me a lot. Great contact. Okay, so that's the same commenter said he can be very funny. He's referring to me when he says he. That's what it is. Lisa, Judy's not going to like this one. She says, and this is the real cyborg on the cyborg cockroach. Judy doesn't like cockroaches. That's an understatement. She hates cockroaches. Life happens. This is Phil. I decided to document life. It's why I picked the name of my channel. Won't be up and running good right away. Baby steps. So that is Philip, and he has a second handle called Life Happens, and that's the one he's going to do his channel on. I can't wait to see what he does. RV Life. I like this format. It's fun to see Dottie too, but it might cause issues if Dottie gets caught doing her business. It would. If I showed Dottie doing her business, you mean number two, there would be tons of complaints. There would be. So I always have to either revert the camera or edit it out. It's absolutely true. Might get that. Not sure I need it, but might get that drone. He means the flying selfie. Not sure I need it, but it might be fun. And if you get it, understand it's not like the drone that you used to. It's not like you can fly off and fly over vistas and stuff. It's a little small plastic thing. It's tiny. And it stays, when it's a little above me shooting down, that's as high as it goes. So I think I misunderstood this one. In 1961, Duane says, I never meant to give you mixed emotions, nor was I using my humor to harm. We all make dumb mistakes we can laugh at. I put my tongue on a frozen windmill as a young boy and laugh about it to this day. You misunderstood my humor. I'm sorry it made you uneasy. And I'll tell you what I said and then what he said back. Because I think I confused him with Rob. I thought he was the poster that was talking about me pausing and not being able to find the words, and I was using that as an example of hostile humor. And it wasn't. I don't know what Dwayne was referring to. I don't recall any. I don't know, but I made a mistake in thinking that's what he meant. And I said at the time, I hope I made it clear that I knew you didn't intend to harm anyone. I thought it was important to point out the potential consequences of that kind of humor. Then he said, it's also important to note that comments are like text messages. Without the in-person interaction, they can be misunderstood and took the wrong way. So I'll stop there and I'll comment on that. I think that's true. So it's doubly important to be very mindful because it's not a conversation. It's not a real-time conversation. You can't clarify. So you need to be extra careful on what you type that goes permanently into the internet. So you got to be back up. You don't have to do anything. I try to be very careful in what I type in comments on videos, on Facebook, on social media, on the internet. I don't do it in haste, and I think, okay, am I being clear in what I'm saying? Am I being kind in what I'm saying? If the answer to either one of those questions is no, I don't post it, or I keep changing it until the answer is yes to those two questions. He says, I try not to assume or read anything into them, especially intent or emotions, unless it is clear on intent. Well, that's easy to say, but all I can say is put out a YouTube channel and go through 50 comments a day and see if you're able to not read anything into them. If you can do that, you're a stronger person than I am. I understand what you're saying though, and I do not use humor to harm or hurt. If the person laughs first, I will throw humor in then to help lighten their embarrassment. Take care, Rob, and you three have a wonderful weekend. So it could be the same guy with a different screen name. I just don't know. But whatever original comment you're referring to, I must not have found it very offensive at all. Because if I find him real offensive, or I detect malice in it, I'm not going to talk about the comment, because I delete it immediately. It's gone. And the person that did it won't be able to comment again, at least that you and I can see. So that's not the case for sure, because one, we can see his comments, so he wasn't in that category at all. So anyway, I think, Dwayne, we had a misunderstanding, and if so, I'm sorry about that. Quartzsite, gourmet grilled cheese for breakfast. Gourmet grilled cheese for breakfast, and Shireen says I definitely park near the restroom. Okay, little issue with cheese, I guess. Flying selfie stick, hover X1. That is an old video. That's my old selfie. I've got a new one now, but it says, how does it record audio? I assume the app allows you to transfer your video to your phone. And I said, the phone connects real time to the unit, allowing the audio. So that's how it does it. So you have to be using your phone if you want to use that AI audio. Real Cyborg, and Robert Baylor says, simply put, yikes. I don't think he likes cockroaches either. Robert Ballard on comments. Hi, Rob. Recall what our friend Rusty says. You do you. He says you do you, I'll do me, is what Rusty says. Rob, we hear you loud and clear, and it's incumbent upon all of us to be better and sometimes think before we speak. It's just as you say, kindness should be more of a driver in our day-to-day interactions with all people. I feel that our skin has gotten a bit thin because of the impact of social media at times. When I speak to someone, I try to consider how I'd like to be spoken to. You know, Dottie and George should be a role model for all of us. They are different, but respect each other while giving space and comfort each other's company. A great comment. The only thing there that is certainly from my perspective as a counselor, is the phrase thin-skinned. It's akin to if you tell someone they're thin-skinned, or tell someone they're overreacting, that's, to me, that's not a useful, healthy, kind comment to anyone. And he doesn't mean it in that context. He says that I think what he means is we've become more impacted by rudeness because it's so prevalent on social media. People clearly say things on social media that they would not say to you in person in a million years. And I think that's what he means. So by using the term thin-skinned, I think he's saying we've encountered far more instances of this through social media these days. And I agree with that. So I think that's what he means, that our skin hasn't gotten thin. It means we're not more sensitive to these kinds of things. I think that we have an increased frequency of exposure to them. I think that's an accurate thing. And I really think that's what Robert Ballard did that. And I think that's what he meant. Mario Fuentes, we are only human. We make mistakes. Overall, it was a great video. Let's see. And Robert Ballard comments too. Hi, Rob. We just love it when Dottie takes you for a regular morning walk. We're a fan of your positive news stories. One of the 8 viewers, I guess. It's funny because I always say my positive news videos, they give me a lot of joy when I do them. It's the first thing I do every morning. But I get less than 100 views on every one of them. No one's interested in those videos. Not no one, but very few people are interested. I do one on how to get rid of my wastewater, and it's like 2,000 views. We are a fan of your positive news stories, just one of the 8 viewers, but do as you want whenever you want. Mario Fuentes, let's see, we already did that one. What is this little guy, the game video in Studio 1954? Fox for sure. Ronald Palmer says, hi, I'm not sure how this works on comments. I'm new to coming out there. I'm thinking that only way to communicate with people is to show up and walk around and introduce myself and see how this works. Thanks, by the way. Your videos are entertaining. I said, hey, check out tomorrow's video. It'll be very applicable to this. So check out that video. Box Van D, big, very popular YouTuber, says, I've been going past your camp since I'm camping for a bit with some friends here. I'm uncomfortable just stopping by and introducing myself, so I may meet you soon. I actually live in Quartzsite year-round in an RV park. I too say what I feel, but I try to be careful as to not to start an argument. I believe everyone is entitled to have their own thinking. I enjoy your videos. I can only watch so many because I have to manage my own channel. Please stop by if you want to. It's so funny. She's in like a sedan, a white sedan, and she has Box Van D, her logo on the door. And yesterday, just before she sent this, I saw her drive by. I was out with Dottie, and I'm yelling, Box Van D, hey! She didn't hear me. And it's funny, then she gives me that. So I know exactly where she is. I'll go down there and see her today. Adopted another, I've got to check the time. I got 15 minutes. Adopted another pet, and Dottie is not happy. That's a little short. Haha, I don't blame her. I wouldn't like it either. The new pet, by the way, was a blow-up Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the electric glowing red nose out front. Morning Desert. Hi Rob, enjoy your channel. That's Denny Evans or Denny Evans. Mostly because you're living in life that I enjoy your channel, mostly because you're living the life that most of us wish we could live, and that's enjoying the freedom to live your life on your terms. And then we have 2003 DDJ. Good morning, Job. The short beard looks good on you. Your comments on hurtful comments reminded me of my second generation barber. I've been going to that shop since 1964, who once said to me, what happened? Your treadmill breakdown? He thought it was funny, and I did not. It cost him my business. I found a different barber. And I said to that, yes, that's classic hostile humor. I'm so grateful I've learned about the concept. The other thing that people don't realize, here's a classic one that people, that's the last comment, but I'm going to close with this on hostile humor. There is a thing that is widely considered acceptable teasing criticism, and that is of bald men. And as I say that, some of you probably laughed as soon as I said it. And it's acceptable, and I know it is because I've been bald since I was in my 30s, so close to 30 years. People have joked about my head over and over and over again. And trust me, it gets old. And there may be one or two times I thought it was funny, but the vast majority I don't find funny at all. But it's socially acceptable to tease a bald man about his bald head. Don't dare do it if a woman has that condition, because you will be canceled. It's just not acceptable. And you know what? It shouldn't be acceptable for men. When I was younger, fat jokes and teasing people for being fat was totally acceptable, and that's changed over time. So it shows our values change over time. But it's really any humor that is at the expense of someone else. It's making fun of a person, a group of people, like an ethnic group of people. I'm not saying this stuff is 100% always wrong, but it's wrong enough where I personally try not to do it and try to be vigilant about not doing it. Anyway, that is today, and heck, I hope I don't lose more subscribers over this one. Yikes. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging in there and watching the whole thing. You're great. I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.